Hello everyone, welcome to this video which is the start of a whole new kind of series. Of course I was in the middle of my shaping the masters, and I will continue with that too, but in the meantime I thought of another project which is pretty interesting, maybe more exciting than the shaping the masters thing. And I got the idea because of well, I get this comment a lot, like people thanking me for the videos and saying that they're practicing the lines, but they don't really see how the lines would end up in their solos when they're playing for real, right? And or how all the lines connect to make a coherent solo instead of just copy pasting different lines and sounding kind of random. And just to demonstrate how this might work, I thought of a new project, which is kind of a win-win-win situation for me because I can combine lots of things. So what I did is I arranged a song in the morning, and then I recorded everything myself. So first I started recording rhythm guitars, or at first I did a bass, but I don't have a bass here, so I just used a MIDI bass, but it's a good sample, so it sounds good. And then I do a click, of course, and then I recorded two rhythm guitars, one on the left side, one on the right side. Then I recorded a violin theme and solo, and then I did a guitar, the lead guitar, and there's also a special in it, and there's lots of nice stuff of a song called Jeepers Creepers. And as the basis for the arrangement, I used the Sinatra arrangement. At least I did for the intro, but then the rest, it's all different. And I want to make 3 videos with the song. So this is the first video in which I'm going to take a look at the guitar solo or several nice chords I'm playing, comping the violin. And then I'll make a video looking at the violin solo. And then I'll make a video demonstrating how I mixed it, because I have a very particular way of mixing this kind of music, and they use a lot of modern mixing techniques to produce this old-fashioned music and still get an acoustic sound. I hope people find that interesting. And then I have a song which can go onto a new album in the end. Maybe I make like 10 or 12 songs. And then I have an album with nice songs with new arrangements, and I'm playing all the instruments, so it's kind of funny. So the first thing we should do is listen to the whole song just to get a bit of context. Now, if you don't want to listen to the whole song, then you can look in the description. There will be a time code to where the video starts with the instruction. But I really think you should listen to the whole song just to get the context of what I'm talking about. So I'll give you a view of my computer screen right here, and then you can see the audio go, the mix go in my DAW, which is Reaper, and then you can listen to this arrangement, just recorded, mixed and mastered, of Jeepers Creepers. Here we go. Okay, I hope you liked it. I think it's pretty energetic. It doesn't sound at all like one guy playing everything to a click, and that's because I use some tricks. So one trick I use is I start the click at one tempo. In this case, I think it was like 174, and then it gradually speeds up to maybe. No, I started at 171 and it speeds up to 174, something like that, and that keeps the energy going. That's what would happen in a live performance. So the bass is played pretty much to that click exactly, and then I turn the click off and I play all the other instruments on top of the bass. And I make sure to play with lots of energy. And I want to take a look at the guitar solo for this video. I transcribed the whole guitar solo, which will be available tonight for my patrons, the complete guitar solo. But for this video, I just want to look at some interesting things that I think are interesting, and I will refer to other videos on my channel. But if you're a patron of mine, don't forget you can download the complete guitar solo on the Patreon site. A link to that will also be in the description. So let's start at the beginning. Let's take a look. Let's listen again to the intro, and maybe I'll play along with the recording on video so you can see what I'm doing. And when I see something interesting, I will stop the video and talk about it. Okay, maybe a little bit lower. Okay, so here we go. Let's do it again. Okay, so I took this idea from the Sinatra recording, that, and then the rest is I'm just ad-libbing, riffing on the chords, and I'm trying to find nice voicings for all these chords, because it's only two chords basically. It's only G, D7, G. It's only G and D7. So I'm trying to find nice voicings. So I start with G with the B on top, but it's a nice voicing because it's D, E, B. So it suggests G6, and I slide up. And then originally I had this. But then, so I'm playing D7 augmented or D7 flat 13 to just a diminished chord, which would be then D7 flat 9 to G6. But I think it's nicer if I just slide that diminished chord. So you could say it's A7, D7, or you could say this is like G diminished or C sharp diminished to F sharp diminished to G. That's the interesting thing about this is when you want to play a nice voicing with the root on the top, so it's G6, there's not many options, right? For the other notes like the third, there's more options, and for the fifth there's even more options, but for the root you're kind of stuck with this voicing, which is G6. But it's a nice voicing. Top 4 strings, 5 4 5 3. So again. This lick comes directly from the Sinatra recording. Go listen to that recording, but it's played by the bass only. But because I used MIDI bass and it doesn't sound really great solo, I doubled it with the guitar. Okay, and then the theme starts, and the chords that I used are really simple. It's just a 2-5 to G, and then 5-1 again. Of course, you could play 2-5-1-6, but I chose not to do it because that's what's happening in the bridge already. So I wanted to make a distinction, so just play 2-5 and then 5-1. 2-5-1-5-1. Sometimes I just play this A minor 11, so but I think of it as D sus, and just play that. So then I answer the violin with these small chords. Ta ta da da da. So that's interesting, right? So that's a voicing for F sharp 7, sharp 9, which is a substitute for G diminished, right? You could. It resolves nice to G, so it's with the theme. So I'm just harmonizing the theme. Second. So let's just play that, and then I'll play along. You can see it. Okay, now we're at the bridge, which is just a 2-5-1-6 in C, D minor, G7, C, A7, and then 2-5-1. And then it's the same thing in D, 2-5-1, B7, 2-5, and then a 2-5 to G. Maybe I'll put the chords on the screen. So what I do there is just play nice tremolos. You can play any chord you want, but I like to play them on the middle strings or the top 4 strings. And I do this thing. So I'm just playing F6 to G6, and I substitute that on the part where it's D minor, but F6 is the same. And then G6, I play that on the G7. And the G6 works because this has a 13, and it's the old big band sound. In the big band sound, often they didn't want to play this kind of sound, G13, G7, 13, so they played G6. Gives you an old-fashioned sound, and then you can slide the chord. Right, and then I play some nice chords for the 2-5 in D. I don't remember what it is. I have to listen. Let's listen. Let's listen. See what I do there. Just nice chords, you know. But that's nice to know. Like A minor 7. So that's on the D string 5, and then 5-3, 5-5-3. That's A minor 7, and then I resolve the G to F sharp. This is a trick I learned from Mike Moreno. Of course, it's a regular thing to do. I never did it. When you want to play small chords on the 2-5, and the nice thing is it also works for A half diminished. Let's say the chords are to G minor. You can play because you're avoiding the fifth of the chord. So to D. This is A sus to A7. And then we're at the last A. Let's see what I do there. So the last A is kind of weird because it has 2 extra bars, and so the chords are 2, 5, 1, 5, 1, 2, 5. And then we get B half diminished, E7, and it comes at a really weird spot. If you have to solo on this song, everything is pretty easy, but then this comes at an inconvenient spot because of the 2 extra bars. Then we get 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5, 1. So I kind of change my response to the violin. I start, and then play this voicing for D minor 6 or B half diminished, E7. Nice voicing for E7, starting on the A string. It's 11, 12, 11, 12, 12. And then it's onto the guitar solo. So let's play along with the guitar solo, and then when I see something interesting, I'll stop it. Okay, so I start with this fast thing. That's like a Paul the Schaefer thing. It's in one of my videos. It's a video about triplet runs. I will link it. It's in there. So let's not waste too much time because I'm playing this lick later again. And then that's minor 6 arpeggio. And now I want to look at this lick. So I will put it on the screen, the tab. One, two, three. That's a Ulvacanius phrase, and it's nice to learn anyway. But the thing I want to talk about is because the chords are only 2, 5, 1, 5, 1. So it's 5, 1, repeating over and over. Like the most simple way to play would be 5, 1, 5, 1, 5, 1, 5. Now, if you have seen my video about rhythm changes, you know that this is basically rhythm changes. And now you might say, well, but there's no 4 chord. But the 4 chord is a substitute for 5. So I don't want to get into that because it's in my rhythm changes video. And I talked about when you have a progression like this, which is only 5-1 or 2-5-1 or 1-6-2-5-1 or 4-5-1 or 4-1. You're free to just play around the root and the fifth, around the tonic, the 1 chord and the 5 chords. And then you can do a bunch of stuff. You can alter the 5 chord, or you can pay retardations to the 1 chord with diminished chords. Anyway, that's all in my rhythm changes video. But what I do is I choose to play blues lines, right? That's one of the things I talk about in the rhythm changes video. You can just play blues lines, and I have a whole arsenal of really tasty bluesy phrases, one of which is this one. But there's more in another video that I will link. But one more time, this lick. 1, 2, 3. Yeah? That's nice. With these blues phrases, I don't think it's useful to dive into the principles. It's better off just learning those phrases and the different positions they go in. And for me, I have a bunch around the 3rd of the chord, so it's G. I have a bunch around the root. And I have a bunch around the 5th. Well, that's kind of the same as the 3rd. I have some around the 6th. I'll link several videos with blues lines, but they're all in there. And I just play them during the A when I feel that they sound nice, but they will sound nice everywhere. It's just take experience to make them work. So but this is one example of how you can employ those lines, right? Because I start the solo off with a typical gypsy jazz. There's something really harmonic. It's the D7 or A minor 6, based around that. So I played some really like 5-1 movements, and then I just go into blues thing. I could have played anything. I could have played so let's say right? It would all work. Okay, let's continue. Let's go a little bit back. Okay, there's a couple of nice phrases. This one is nice. It's one of the very few instances that I would actually sweep up. I mean, I avoid those kind of phrases, but this phrase is so nice that I had to learn it. It will be in the blues video, but I want to take a look at this phrase. This. So the nice thing about this phrase is it's pretty bluesy, but I feel it still has some value in jazz. It's another Ufa Canis thing, and you can follow it up with this phrase. I don't play it in the video, but let's play it again with the tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 4, 1. You could also end the phrase like this. Let's play that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Two really very cool blues licks, which you could probably even combine. Let me try that. But oftentimes I'm just kind of messing around with those lines I learn. I don't really talk about it in the video, or maybe I say it, but I don't show it. But I have a line like maybe, and I would be messing around with it. Just trying out stuff, see what works, and put on a backing track or something, or a metronome, and try out those lines. Okay. That's nice. Let's continue. By the way, if you're wondering why I can play that solo along, it's because I didn't compose that solo. I did several takes, and I took a solo that I liked best during recording, and then I transcribed it, and it's because I transcribed it and I practiced it, I can now play along, more or less. So that's a couple of nice things. It's a Be Ready thing. Let's look at that phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see whether I play it in the beat here. So I start before the bar. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice phrase for a quick 2-5 to C. And so that's A flat minor. Right, with a 9. Doesn't really matter, but you're playing kind of altered sound. But just remember the fingerings. It's also Borelli. I got it from Borelli. It's super easy to play. And there's many places where you can play this phrase. Even if a long 2-5-1, you can just play it in the second bar. Like 1. Oh, 2-5-1 in C, sorry. So 1, 2, 5, 1. Okay. And then I play. That's a standard diminished arpeggio Stochlo thing. There's many videos where I show this, so I will link a video. Also a Stochlo thing. There's probably a video where I show this. So, but you know what? Let's do that phrase right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 2-5 to D. But let's look at the way I combine all these things. So my thought pattern or my thought process. So I play all this blues stuff in G, and then we go to a bridge, which is again 2-5-1s or 1-6-2-5-1s, all the same. And I could of course continue playing blues in C, right? So I come from this blues in G stuff. Now we go to C. And to D. But if I start doing that, then for my taste, I'm going too far away from what Gypsy Jazz is all about, which is about outlining chords in the end, in a particular way. So I choose to outline chords more than I did in the A part. So I start with this. Actually, this is just a C major 7 kind of thing. But then I outline 2-5. I'll outline 5. 2-5 again. So, of course, all this is going automatically because I've played these lines so many times and I've tried them out so many times on backing tracks that I start hearing them at appropriate times. And that just takes a lot of time and a lot of doing it over and over and over, playing those lines all the time. There's no secret for that. Just take all the lines that I show in my video and just play them all the time, and some will stick and others won't. Same for me. I don't care about that. I just care about the things I do retain, which is maybe less than 20% of all the stuff I practice. And not even all the stuff I show you in videos I will retain, because some lines I will also forget. But the lines that stick will be lines that are very close to what I can hear or what I like. Okay, so let's go to the third A. Okay, I bet that if you heard for the first time, you thought, wow, that's really amazing, fast, and it sounds good, but there's a trick to it in the sense that I'm just playing lines that I played many times, triplet lines, because I've worked very hard on triplet lines, because it's an essential part of being able to be explosive on guitar, right? There's no... on violin, there's other things to work on, which I will talk about in my violin solo, but more about vibrato or playing high stuff or kind of slides. But on guitar, an essential part, I think, of being able to play interesting solos is that you can play triplets. And this is the ideal tempo for triplets, 170, right? 190 gets really tricky, and above 190 it's going to be very hard playing triplets in a convincing way. But 170 is perfect. So I'm start with this, which is just a triplet lick for D7 to G. I think I showed that line in several videos. I will link some. Just watch for triplet licks. And then, so that's the first line, which I've played a million times already. And then I switched to another line, which is the exact same line that I started my solo with. It's just a Paulus line, right? So I combine this line this goes automatically because I've played these lines so many times. My hand ends up here with the first line, and then I see that other line, or I hear that other line, and just start playing it. Of course, this takes many hours of practice to also be able to hear that or feel it. But it is doable, because it's not long ago that I couldn't play either of these lines. And then I go to this other Paulus line, which I call the Paulus Schaeffer major scale, even though it's not a major scale because it's C sharp, because it's a G major scale. And here's chromatic. The fingering is super easy. So I start on the D string on the 11th fret, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Shift up 1 fret, 1, 2, 4 again. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you start on the beat, you end on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. In triplets, 3, 4. And if you play it in 8th notes, you also end on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great skill. Much more useful to learn than the regular major scale. And I talk about this line in my video about... which video would that be? Probably my video about the major scale. I will link that. Okay, so I play that. And then I go into this kind of Gonzalo Bergara lick, although it is not really. I show this line in one of my triplet videos. There's two, I will link them. Sounds really amazingly complicated, chromatic, but it's just a fingering trick. Because 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now there's one string you have to play 2, 1. And I play 3, 1, 1, 1, 3, 1, 1, 1. Right? That's kind of trick. If you play 3, 1, 1, 1, and then go, you can play it on all 6 strings like that. It's just a chromatic trick. But because the guitar strings are not completely consistent, right? There's a third or fourth and then a third, and you get some really complicated sounding chromatics, but it isn't. So again, I play this phrase that I've played many times. Paulus Schaeffer lick, Paulus Schaeffer scale, Gonzalo. And when I play this phrase, this last one, and I start on the beat, then I know that this note is also on the beat. So I focus on that. 3, 4. Let's play that phrase together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the nice thing is, this is a line that you use for E7. And so I played about the time that the E7 hits. And that was just kind of luck. I ended up there and I saw this line. At the moment the E7 chord was coming, Maybe I'm not completely in sync with E7, I think. Let me see. Let me listen again. So I played, I'm not yet on the E7, or the chords are not yet E7, but I start early, and that's a really nice effect. So I'm anticipating the E7 chord. You hear that as a listener, you think, oh wow, something harmonically exciting is about to happen, because you've heard 5-1 only so far. And then the rhythm section plays E7. Of course, I didn't consciously do it. My hand ended up here, and I saw this E7 line, and I played it because I knew the E7 was about to be played. So that's how it works. Okay, and then the end. It's not really interesting. So let's go on and let's see what happens kind of fast, because the video is getting kind of long, during the violin solo. That's nice. That's a Peter Bernstein. It's one of my videos. Which one? I don't know. Some video about chords. D minor in a fourth voicing. And then the end point is C major 7. But for the G, play this kind of, you could say it's kind of F minor. F minor is the same as G7 altered. I'll talk about it in my rhythm changes video, but also my video about functions. Right, 2-5-1. A little bit outside the style, but hey, my hand ended up there, right? I played. And then I played. Those chords. That's a typical Django trick. You can play 1-3, 1-2. So I play G and F sharp on the B string, and you play 4/16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. It's a nice little Django thing that you can play. You know, when you have a song in G or C, just find a nice place to play it on the 1 chord, or the 5 chord, or the 4 chord, or the 2 chord. Okay. And that's a special. So the way I come up with specials is just I play I just play rhythm and I start singing lines, you know, like catchy lines that I can repeat. Right? I could come up with any other line, maybe. And it doesn't really matter, just something bluesy or just something catchy. So I do that. Unison with violin guitar always works. That's just a guitar lick. And also a violin lick. I actually played it in the violin solo. When I was playing it, I was like, oh, I'm also gonna play this in the special, but you know. Ending on the 6. And then I had actually, when I played the violin solo, I did some lick here, but I had a plan to play some kind of two voice part there, but I forgot to do it on the violin, and I liked it, so then I just changed it and I did some chords on the guitar. Okay, let's listen what happens there. I don't have the music, the tab right here in front of me. I just have the mix. Right, I play this. I heard the violin do it and I kind of doubled it. It's just a violin lick and I harmonized it with augmented chords. These two chords for D7, it's really Django to play those two chords. You can play all those chords, but I just play those two. So I remember it's like D7, I can either have the augmented 5th on top, or the flat 13, or the 9. So let's say you play another song like Little Be Good. Right? Let's continue. That's cool. Let's go back a little bit. So I came up with that just the same way. Right? I was listening to, just singing along. I played that special. I think I need some hits here. I need some really powerful together with the violin. And I already knew like I want the rhythm section to play shuffle. That's really a good tool to spice up things. And then I just came up with these chords. So I play D sus. It's a C triad. With a D on top, but it's a good voicing for D sus. So and then play this standard voicing for G6, G6 9. So, and at first I wanted to do the same thing again, but it was kind of lame. So I said, no, I need to go up. So I went to D7 9 to. This is the voicing that you often use for A minor 6. Right? So, but you can also use it for D7. And I went to like 12, 12, 12 on the top 3 strings for G. It's typical Django voicing you can play. Right? So. And the violin just plays octaves, but octave higher. So this D and this D. So, sounds really nice. And then it's just ad-libbing, right? I just play some. And the violin plays some nice lines. And then we go to the bridge again. And then I play some nice chords, I think. Let me listen. Those are really nice chords. I play, it's okay. And I play, instead of going like in the beginning, I go to, so voicing for B half diminished, but you can also use it for G7, G7 9, to this low voicing for G6, C6. So it's 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2. And if you actually move this E to E, you have C minor, also nice. And then I play so it's 2, E minor, 2 and D, E minor, to this voicing. I don't know what it is. What is it? It's what would you call that? I don't know what you call that. E flat with a sharp 9. Yeah, that's it. So it's a tritone substitute for a kind of a tasty tritone substitute, or like Roland Nolan would say, crispy for A7. It's one of my videos to go to. It's a voicing I got from Lagerlund. I think I got this completely from Lagerlund. nice voicing for D. It's in one of my videos. I don't know which video, but one of the chord videos. So this is top 4 strings, 4, 4, 2, 5. So you get this, which is would be open string, 2, 5, 2, 3, 2. And I just play 2, open string, 2, 5, 3, 4, 2, 2. So 2, 5, 1 in D. And I have to play 2, 5 again in D. Standard voicing for E minor. Diminished on the A. And I have to go to a 2, 5 in G. So A minor, or D sus. And the nice thing about it is not, the voicing is super nice, but I try to go up in the line. Right? This is improvised. So the way it works is, I'm playing the 2, 5 in C. And then I think, oh, I'm right here. Do I know a nice voicing for E minor right here? Yeah, I know several. This one, or this one, or this one. This one's right. But I chose for this one. And then because I practice this, my hand automatically does that. And then I hear that I'm going up. I think, okay, I need to go up further on the neck. So what is the next voicing I know for E minor, which maybe has an A or B as top note. So I can go to, that would be nice too. But I decided to go to, and then I need the one for A7, next chord, with a B on top, or a C or C sharp. So I could stay on the B, right, like this. Or I could go to a sharp 9 sound. But it's kind of a sweet song, so I decided just to go to, and then go to, which is just the next chords for A minor and D7 that I could find going up. So from this, I want to go have voicing for A minor or D sus, the same thing, going up. So I could go to, or I could go to, or I could actually go down, would be nice too, maybe. It would be nice. There's many options, but I chose for this line going up. Yeah. That would be nice too for D7. You gotta learn this voicing, it's the best voicing ever. D7, sharp 9, flat 13. It's kind of uncomfortable to play, but I practice it a lot because I love this voicing so much, because I need to be able to play it. So it's 9, it's F sharp on the A string, 9, 10, 10, 11, 10. Works really nice after this voicing. This is a D7, flat 9, 13, 13, flat 9. That would be top 4 strings, 10, 11, 12, 11, and then you go this. And resolve to G. Okay, and then we're at the end of the song, I think. That's, yeah, I don't think, I can see it. So I just doubled the melody. It's the first time that ever happens in the end of the song. Very powerful. After we play this special, this shout chorus. And at first I just had. But when I was recording it and I listened back, I was like, oh, I heard that second voice there, and then I just re-recorded it. on the guitar. It's either always like 1, 2 or same frets. Just use your ears. Because it's not of the scale, but I just listen. No, that's not right. Yeah, no, right. And then I played the theme in chords because I figured after this double stops to go back to octaves. I could do it, but I could also do the other way and play even more notes. So I went to, so we were on E7, so it's A minor, D7. I play F sharp diminished. So that's a voicing for D minor 6 or B half diminished. Same chord. To E7, I play G sharp diminished. So back to octaves. I wanted to play at the end, so I just shifted. I want to end on this A minor, so I just shift. That's not a harmonic choice, it's just shifting the chord. Also, it sounds very Christmassy, so because it is. I think this is exactly in the Christmas song. Of course, not in this key, but so that is it. I hope you enjoyed that. It's just a unrehearsed look into my thought pattern or analyzing myself, right? When I play this, and I didn't compose this solo, I didn't compose the chords, I just did several takes of it, and then I took the best solo. I think I fixed one spot where I played some weird note, and then I did the special, and then I did a punch in to play those double stops and stuff. But when you hear me explain it, you think, wow, that's a lot to think about. That's not possible to do it, and it's true. It's not possible. This is just after years of practicing this stuff. And mind you, I don't play guitar that long. Well, it's getting longer and longer now. But I started playing guitar in 2011 from zero experience. Right, so I had to learn lots of things, and so imagine that I already had a high level on violin, and I could already do all these things on violin, right? Like this thought process, and it's automatic. When I play violin, it's automatic. I don't even have to think. Just the violin takes with one take, just easy. And then at the same time, when I was already capable of doing that, I was really struggling to get this flow with guitar. But it's starting to come, or it's already there now. Maybe for like the last year or so, maybe half year, and it's getting better and better. And the way that happens is just repetition, practicing lines and being frustrated. So that's the message. Just keep on trucking. Take those lines. Take lines that you have in my videos. Those are all great lines, because otherwise I wouldn't have showed you them, or I wouldn't have transcribed them myself. Or you can transcribe your own lines. That really doesn't matter, as long as you like the line. And then keep playing them and keep messing up. Try to play them on a gig, right? You could take one line and say, okay, I need to play this line every solo. For the rest of the solo, I can do whatever I want and maybe won't sound as good, but I need to play this 1 minor 6 arpeggio every song. So just pick a spot and play it. Okay, so a couple of things. Again, if you want a transcription of the solo, complete solo, you can find it on Patreon, link in the description. In the end, this project should culminate into a full album, of course, with 10, 12 tracks, which I will sell, and my patrons can, of course, buy this for a discounted price, and they will have access to all the solos. So the next video will be talking about the violin solo, which is nice because it's time for some violin videos. And then the third video will be about mixing. And if you're interested in mixing, that's one of the things I do a lot. I teach a course about it at my university even. I use a lot of modern mixing techniques, like parallel compression, and I use compressors in a very specific way. And people are very afraid of using compressors, but I treat violin like I treat vocals, with a chain of a peak limiter and a compressor, stuff like that. If you're interested in that, you should watch my mixing video, in which I will go through the mix and how I achieved it, which plugins I used. And if you are not interested in it, then just watch the videos about the music. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.